Good morning.
So, in our last session, we have discussed about Lambda. So, did you get any chance to deploy that and go through that Lambda function? So, if not, please spare some time. I'm giving entire code. You just need to spend just 5 minutes creating an SNS topic. Grab that SNS topic ARN name, use it here, and add a couple of subscribers. Create a volume. Don't encrypt it. Don't associate it to any of the EC2 instance. Just run that Lambda function. So it should trigger an email. Uh, so here in today's session, we are going to discuss about cloud formation. So basically, cloud formation. So cloud formation actually comes under infrastructure as a code service. We can provision the infrastructure resources by using code. Infrastructure as code. Infrastructure as code service, right? So here in this infrastructure as a code, so basically to create an EC2 instance, you need to write a function. You need to create a stack. Whenever you deploy that stack, then automatically we are going to get that EC2 instance. If you want to create an S3 bucket, you can create a stack and then you can deploy that. So then you can so this cloud formation, it's free. Basically, this is a certification question. So CFT cloud formation template. CFT means CF cloud formation is free to use, but whatever resource we create using cloud formation, it might cost us. So based on the free tier limitation, if you're creating a T2 micro EC2 instance, it's not going to cost us anything. But if you're creating T3 large or extra large and also, then definitely it's going to. But using this cloud formation is free, it's not going to cost us anything. And this service supports two languages, two scripting languages. One is JSON, JavaScript object notation. Another one is YAML, yet another markup language. So you need to choose one of this programming language. So then you can design that script, you can deliver that. So we have, visual designer where we can use to generate the cloud formation script. Otherwise, we even have some third-party applications that I'll take you through. So for example, so I want to create an S3 bucket. So for that, okay, I have small scripts. I'll share that cloud formation script. I have approximately 60 cloud formation scripts, guys. 65 cloud formation script I'm going to share. So these are the ones 60, and so these are some sample ones. So for example, you want to create a bucket. So to create a bucket without any properties and all, so this is this is going to create a bucket. Just this command. This is going to create a bucket. It's going to create a resource. Yeah, it's going to create a resource. Okay. So within this resource, we are going to pick S3 bucket and type we are giving AWS colon S3 colon solution bucket name. Whenever you are saving it as a file and whenever you are deploying it, it is going to create a bucket. But are we giving any bucket properties? No. But if you observe this particular stack, so here we are giving a bucket name. Okay, I want an S3 bucket, and that S3 bucket should contain a property like this. Right. So now let me go and let me deploy this. So navigate to CloudFormation. Otherwise, under management and governance, you can find CloudFormation. Navigate. So instead of CloudFormation, we have some another services also, guys. So for example, instead of CloudFormation, you want to use Terraform. You want to use Terraform? Yes, you can use it. This is one of the widely used one. This Terraform is one of the widely used one. Otherwise, if you want to use Amazon own tool called AWS CDK, Amazon CDK, you can use this one also. The advantage with these tools, no, you can generate a script in with your own programming language. If you're taking CDK, if you're taking CDK, you can use Python, you can use Node.js, or you can use Java, you can use TypeScript. Then you can initiate to create the resource. Whenever you want to deploy, you can use this Amazon CDK. Whenever you're trying to deploy to your AWS environment, yes, it is going to create a cloud formation template and it is going to deploy. For example, this is a CDK toolkit. It got deployed, and this ECS console, it got deployed by using that cloud formation only. So basically, we can use our own tool. End of the day, in AWS environment, we are going to deploy. End of the day, in AWS environment, we are going to deploy everything using cloud formation only. Okay, so now let me deploy a stack. So here is an option, create a stack. Click on create a stack. So if your template is ready, you can upload that to S3 platform. You can browse, give that S3 URL. Otherwise, you can upload a template file. So in my case, my template file is ready. So initially, I'm going to upload this, but that YAML. This is written in YAML. So basically, I personally prefer to go with the YAML. The reason is JSON. If you gave extra comma, if you forgot to give any comma or any bracket, open bracket or close bracket, yes, you are going to land into an error, right? So but when coming to this YAML, there is no open bracket, close bracket, no commas. See in this code, right? So that is the only reason, and it just it's a very easy to understand. Even you can read the property without any difficulty. I'll show you some critical ones also. So now click on next. Now what is the stack name? So bucket one is the stack name I'm giving. Click on next. So now, do you want to provide any tags for this? Do you want to provide any permission, additional permission to this cloud formation to provision the resources? Then stack policies, so if you want to give any stack policy, or you can keep the stack policy, then you can upload that. So basically, you don't want to update those resources in future. Such type of ones, you can add that here. So one important thing here is stack creation options, roll back on failure. For example, there is a mistake in this code. There is a mistake in this code. So if there is a mistake in this code, what should happen? It is going to fail. Whenever it is failing, what do you want to do with the resource that is already created? For example, you created a stack, you created a stack and you deployed that. Basically, that stack is going to create three S3 buckets and one EC2 instance. So this three S3 bucket creation is completed, but this EC2 instance is failed due to some stack error, syntax error, it got failed. Now, what do you want to do with these three S3 buckets? Do you want to delete as entire stack got failed, or you want to keep this resource? So that we can define. Roll back on failure. Whenever this feature is enabled, so whatever the resource it is already created, it is going to delete these all resources. Whenever you deploy again, it will create this resource again. When rollback on failure is disabled, if it got failed here in this stage, so it will keep these resources, it won't create this. So it will show you what are the resources created in that resource section and all. So I'm going to get enable here. So termination protection, for example, so what happened whenever we delete this cloud formation template, resources created by using this cloud formation template also deletes. I'll show you that. I'm going to disable. Click on next. This is a review screen. So now let me go to S3 and how many buckets we have. So I have 39 buckets at moment. So I'm going to deploy this. Scroll down, click on create stack. So now the subs are here, one stack is creating. So this stack is going to create some resource. See, this is the bucket it got created. Now if we go here, if we give a refresh, so see this, we have 40 buckets. So this is the bucket it got created. So in the property, I have given that bucket name. Now I want to create another bucket, 211. Simple, I can go here, I can pick the stack, create a stack, upload a template file, go and pick that, then click on next. So I'm going to call this as a bucket 2. Click on next, scroll down, click on next and create stack. So I prepared a reusable stack. Whenever I deploy that stack, it is going to create an S3 bucket. See, 41 buckets. Now another bucket came. So if I want to, I can go here, I can change the bucket. So now you have a requirement that you want to create a bucket that contains a life cycle management role. So you can keep such type of templates in handy. Basically, in every organization based on the project, we are going to have many templates. So you are just going to modify the template based on the requirement, then you are going to deploy. For example, one client one is there. He need an S3 bucket. That S3 bucket need to create with lifecycle management role, and all objects need to send it to Glacier after 7 days. Okay. So another client, he also required same thing, but he want to move object to Glacier after 20 days. So then you must know how to read this. So first thing, this is a resource. So what resource we are creating? So the resource we are creating an S3 bucket. For this S3 bucket, what are the properties you are defining? So I'm giving a bucket name. This is going to be my bucket name. What is the ACL you want to give? I want to make it public. I don't want to make this bucket publicly accessible. Lifecycle configuration. So now I'm going to apply a lifecycle management role on this bucket. So the name of this lifecycle management role is Glacier role, or you can rename it demo rule. Then what is the prefix? Whatever the data we have within this bucket with prefix called Glacier, then I'm going to make all the data expire after 7 days. And I want to move the data to Glacier when after 2 days. After 2 days, I'm moving it to Glacier. For example, you want to move it to standard infrequently access. So you can give standard infrequently access. So such type of options we can give, right? So now whatever the output. So here within this cloud formation template, we have an output section. So whenever any bucket got created, you want to show that bucket name here, or you want to give any custom messages. So I'm going to give name of the sample Amazon S3 bucket with lifecycle management role. I'm going to define this particular value as a description, and it is going to show this whatever the bucket it got created here, that S3 bucket, it is going to display that value. Now let me go and deploy that stack. My template is ready and I'm going to upload that. So what is that stack name? This is the one. So then click on next. Okay, 3, click on next. Next, scroll down to the bottom, create stack. So here you just observe one bucket got created. Here under output section, we got that bucket name, this is a value it is referring and this is a description it is showing. So the same thing we mentioned here, right? So if we go to S3 platform and we are going to get a bucket and that bucket is going to contain a lifecycle management role. We got that demo role here and it got deployed. So basically whatever the cloud formation template we are giving, so that is doing all these things. Now one important thing is whenever you are deleting this cloud formation template, all the resources it got created is going to delete automatically. Now I'm deleting this cloud formation template. Deleting this stack will delete all stack resources. Click on delete. Now it got created in S3 bucket, right? That S3 bucket is going to delete here. So it got deleted. Now we have only 41 buckets. For example, I want to delete this bucket 2 1 also. So at moment, how many buckets we have? 41 buckets. Now when I deleted this stack, so here that resource also is going to delete. Now we have only 40 buckets. So that is an important thing. Deleting cloud formation stack is going to delete all the resources it got created in backend. So to generate this cloud formation script, I personally use an option called AWS console recorder. I personally prefer to use an option called AWS console recorder. So when coming to this console recorder, so basically when the UI is updated, it will take some time to update the resource and all. But let me do one thing. I want to launch an EC2 instance. So for that operation, I want to generate a cloud formation script. We know how to do that via console. Okay, now same thing I want to for the same thing I want to perform. So now let me do one thing. I'm going to create a security group. Before that, I have installed a plugin, Chrome plugin here. I'm going to start recording. Click on start recording. Initially, I will show how to create a security group. Click on create security group. What is the security group you want to give? Avinash test SG is a security group name I'm giving. So given the description, in what VPC you want to create, I want to create this in custom VPC. What is the inbound role? I want to open port number 22 for everyone. Then scroll down, create security group. Now one security group got created. So we can stop this recording. So now this particular thing, so it is going to show you if you want to perform same thing by using CDK or Python, how exactly we can do that code it's going to show here. So now I'm going to show you how to launch an EC2 instance and how to grab that recording. So now navigating here, start recording. Now launch instance. I'm going to take Amazon Linux 2 AMI. I'm taking T2 micro and I'm going to launch this in default, or you can even go with the custom VPC and public subnet. Public IP address is enable, and I'm going to create 10 gigs volume 1. Then click on next. If you want to give any tags, I have given the tag here, and I'm going to choose an existing security group. Then review launching using an existing key pair. So now this operation performed by using console. What I did, I have enable this recording. So same operation, if I want to perform by using code. So if I want to perform same thing by using Boto3 operation, here is a Python code. Importing Boto3 operation. So I'm going to import EC2 in what region it is going to run. And we have described VPCs, we have described images while launching. And so here, what is the state of that EBS volume? And so you just scroll down bit and here you can find what is the image ID. So we are going to run an EC2 instance. We are going to describe security groups. We are getting information about that security groups. So what AMI we are going to, how many instances we are going to launch, what is the key pair we are going to use, and what is the instant type. Keep this handy whenever you got request. Okay, another client is requesting to launch T3 medium. So go and modify this. You want to launch another AMI, go and modify this. So this is for both O3 operation. And same thing by using cloud formation. This is the cloud formation template. So with this cloud formation template, whenever you are deploying this, so now if I am deploying this cloud formation template, it is going to launch an EC2 instance. What AMI it is going to use? This particular AMI it is going to use. What is the key pair it is going to use? What is the configuration, the tenancy, monitoring, and termination protection, and EBS, like instance initiated shutdown behavior stop. That is a shutdown behavior. What tags we have given for this instance? What is the volume and what is the volume type we are giving? And what is the network interface So that we are giving it here, right? So now what security group it is going to use, what subnet it is going to use. Now, whenever you are deploying this template again and again, you are going to get a new instance again and again, just like this. We have used console recorder. The same thing if you want to perform by using Terraform. Here is the Terraform script. Here is a Terraform script. So we are using an AWS EC2 instance. This is going to use this particular AMI. This is going to use this instance type. And shutdown behavior is stop. Termination protection, false. You can propose pair. Same thing. If you are using AWS CDK, this is the code. This is a code to create a TypeScript. Same thing, but by using AWS CDK. What you are importing, then how you are defining, and how you are deploying. Same thing if you want to perform by using AWS CLI, here is a command. AWS EC2 run instance. So this is the command. Whatever the options we selected, everything we are going to get here. So IAM CLI, if you want to, JavaScript, Go language, you can define all those things. So I personally use this console recorder to see at least, now you can easily read and you can modify the settings, right? It's just key and value pairs. This YAML or JSON, this is a key and this is a value. Okay, what is the resource? It is an EC2 instance. You can easily understand. Now within this it is there. So these all properties of our EC2 instance. So this is the tool I personally use to generate any of the script, and most of the times it worked for me. And we have many third party paid tools also to generate these cloud formation scripts. So in your interview, if someone asks you, do you know cloud formation? Yes, I can generate some cloud formation script. I can manage cloud formation script and all. Definitely you can mention that, right? So my personal suggestion, go through this cloud formation templates and you will understand how exactly this is working. So this is a small script to generate security group. So we are in what availability zone you want to create this security group. And here, what is the type of the resource and what is the port number you are going to open and to whom you are going to open. And another port number 22 we are opening, to what network we are opening. So we can define that. So for this particular EC2 instance that it is going to launch, it is going to contain this particular security group ID, right? So such type of templates I'm sharing. So please spare some time and go through this and you can. So this is a template for VPC, right? So some advanced templates also available here whenever you go inside this, for example. So you want to create a DynamoDB table. So this is the one. If you want to implement Elastic Cache, and if you want to implement auto scaling group, and if you want to launch VPC with auto scaling group, VPC with the network load balancer, VPC EC2 instance with multiple IP addresses. So you can go and choose one of this. So WordPress bootstrapped WordPress application with multi-AZ deployment in backend. WordPress single EC2 instance database also runs within that EC2 instance only. So my personal suggestion, please go here, go through this cloud formation templates so you will understand. So I am not going to teach you this JSON or YAML. So you need to, right? So if you're really interested, Terraform have wide range of their own documentation. So HashiCorp, Terraform. So go here. So we have many of the documentations. So that is too sufficient to go with that. Like, so Terraform, AWS. So you can register to the Terraform, and they have given many syntaxes based on the service. For example, you want to perform something for your EC2. Go and search EC2. So here you can find. For example, you want to perform something with EBS volume. See, it is going to create an EBS volume within this region, and it is going to create with this particular size, and this is a tag it is going to associate it whenever you deploy. So similarly, for every single operation, we have description, and everything is here, right? So you can search, for instance, EC2 AWS AMI from instance, AWS instance. So go here. This is going to serve. I personally suggest, if you really into development side and also, then go and learn this Terraform. So you have a lot of their own documentation. So that is too sufficient, and have some basic knowledge at least. Mainly, if you are a developer, you must know one of the here, either Python, or basically you must good at Lambda or Cloud Formation or any of the tools like Terraform. So that's my personal suggestion, right? So I'll recommend you to install this console recorder for AWS for your Chrome browser. You can get it from the extensions, then you can install, right? So that is the one thing I personally suggest you to perform. And second one, when coming to this AWS CDK, Amazon have its own IDE. So Amazon's IDE name is Cloud9. Basically, Cloud9 is Amazon IDE. So the place where we are going to develop our write our programs and all. So for that purpose, we can use. So you really no need to depend on any external IDEs. So recent times I have seen organizations, they really not giving uh, they're not allocating a high configured laptops to the end customers, so to their users. What they're doing, so they're asking to they're launching an IDE within this AWS, so you don't need to have high configuration in your local laptop. So mainly during this um, work from home scenarios, so IDE is going to take a lot of resources, guys. For example, if you take Visual Studio, um, minimum requirements. So if you observe this minimum requirements, it shows 1 GB of the RAM, but even with 8 GB with RAM also, this is going to work very, very slow, and it's going to struck many times. So my personal opinion, 16 GB RAM is sufficient for this. So see this. How much? RAM do I need for Visual Studio? 4 GB. So the official documentation of Studio recommends 4 GB of minimum RAM. You need at least 6 GB for lagging free use. But that is also not sufficient. Minimum 8 GB based on my experience, I'm telling you this. Okay. So now instead of allocating a high configured laptop to these users, what recently companies are preferring that. So launch a browser, launch a IDE within AWS environment for AWS users. So for that, we are going to use an option called Cloud9. Here is a Cloud9 option. So click on that Cloud9. So here I'm going to create an environment. So basically in backend, we are going to have an EC2 instance. We are going to have a console within the, we are going to have a IDE within the browser. And this browser supports 40 plus programming languages. See. So only thing what programming language you're going to use, you need to initialize with that. So then it is going to happen. So click on create environment. What is the name you want to give? So my IDE is a name I'm giving. Then click on next step. So now what is the environment type you are going to use? So I want to launch an EC2 instance and I want to get direct access to it. And accessing via systems manager or run remote via SSH connection to it. So I'm going to create an EC2 instance and I want to get an IDE within the browser. So what configuration you are looking for? I'm looking for T2 micro. I want to be under free tier limitation, free tier eligible. Okay, so I'm selecting that. What operating system? I'm going to choose Amazon Linux 2 AMI. Cost saving settings. So now whenever you are not programming anything, so you haven't pressed any key, the system automatically will go to hibernation state. So minimum is 30 minutes. So you are not doing anything on that browser or within that IDE from last 30 minutes, automatically instance is going to go to cost saving mode. Whenever you press any enter, automatically it will start working again. So based on your requirement, you can give here. So even you can choose never also. Now it is going to use an IAM role. This one we need to modify once it got launched. So in what network it is going to launch, in what VPC, in what subnet, you can choose that. Then click on next step. This is a review screen. We are choosing my IDE, EC2 instance, T2 micro. And we're using Amazon Linux 2 and cost saving setting is it will go to hibernation state or sleeping state after 30 minutes of inactive. Create environment. Now, one IDE is preparing within this browser. So once that IDE is ready, so then we can so in backend one of the EC2 instance is going to run. Come on. So for example, if you navigate to EC2, one EC2 instance is going to run now, and this is a EC2 instance, AWS Cloud9. It is creating that, and once this EC2 instance is up and running, here we are going to get the IDE. First thing, now from this IDE, you want to tweak something and you want to deploy something. So in that scenario, we can, basically, we can associate an IAM role to this. So at moment, what credentials it is using, if you want to see that, what credentials it is using. So you can give whether we are able to list the S3 bucket, AWS S3 space LS. I'm able to list all the S3 buckets. So it is using some service role and it is using some temporary credentials. If you want to, so associate any of the IAM role to this particular EC2 instance, you need to navigate to actions, security, modify IAM role. At moment, do we have any role? No, we can go here, we can associate a role. So now this EC2 instance, within this IDE, we can hit all the resources. Now how to make that applicable? So you can navigate to settings here. Then scroll down. We have AWS configuration. Go here. So within this AWS configuration, where is that? It is using default profile. AWS settings. So here we have an option. AWS manage temporary credentials. Amazon is going to manage some temporary credentials here. If you don't want to, uncheck this. So now still whenever you're unchecking this also, we are going to get like S3 buckets, but this time it is using a role. It is not going to use any temporary credentials. If you want to see, give icon debug. It is going to show you everything. So that is one thing I want to show you. Now, second thing I want to mention here is, so what project you want to initialize. So we need to choose that thing first. So now this is our CDK. So now within the CDK, we are going to have CLI, AWS CLI and all by default install, and we have associated a role, right? After associating a role, so if you want to configure like, any of the region, you can give. So we need to verify a couple of things. If you are about to use this with the CLI, so you need to verify whether Node.js is installed in this machine or not. So give node space hyphen version. Okay, node is installed in this machine. So then we can use this to deploy like, AWS CDK templates and all. Now, so we need to install AWS CDK within this machine. So if you want to verify whether CDK is there in this machine or not, you can give CDK space hyphen version. So it should return with a value. If it is not returning with any of the value, so you can do one thing, you can install AWS CDK. For that, you need to have NPM. So basically node packet manager. So that's the reason, that is the reason you need to have this. Even in your local laptop, if you want to install AWS CDK as a step 1, install Node.js as a step 2. So then install CDK. Why? Because you need to use npm node package manager. So then you need to give install -g, then AWS -CDK. So then only the CDK is going to install. So if you want to install Amazon CDK, you must have Node.js as a first option. So then you can go and do this. So now the CDK is ready. So in our case, the CDK is already there. If you want to, you can give npm CDK -g AWS space CDK. So then it is going to install CDK within this EC2 instance in backend. Within the IDE, it is going to run, right? So with force, it's already there. It's already exists. So now we need to remove that existing one, then only we can install the new one. So however, we already have it, right? So no issue. Now, when coming to this, so basically this CDK, Amazon CDK is going to support multiple programming languages. So you can use .NET when coming to the CDK. So you can use .NET, you can use Java, you can use Python, you can use TypeScript. These are some common ones. I'll share you some workshop URL. So now I'm going to pick this TypeScript and I'm going to deploy very small one to understand how exactly these things are going to work. So now, first of all, where is your project structure? So I want to place all my files and folders into a particular directory in this particular location. So for that, I'm going to create a directory mkdir my project. So or else you can give any of the name. So now my iPhone project got created. I want to go inside that my iPhone project. So now I have given ls and present working directory. So I am under my project directory, right? So now what programming language you want to use within this CDK, that we need to initialize. So the first command is CDK init. CDK init stands for initialize. So CDK init stands for initialize. So I'm going to give CDK init. Now, what is your application name you want to give? I want to give sample application. Now, for this sample application, what programming language you are using? If you are using Python, give hyphen language Python. Give hyphen language Python. So then it is going to create a project with Python folder structure. If you want to use it with any of the programming language, for example, I want to show TypeScript. So I'm giving TypeScript, hyphen language, TypeScript. Click on enter. So now it is deploying. So again, it is executing NPM only. So that's why Node.js is mandatory to use this. So these are the common commands we are going to use. NPM run build, NPM watch. So basically what are the changes happening to our project and all, that will continuously watch in backend. So you can run the just unit test by giving that CDK diff is going to tell you the differences or modification you perform from previous deployment to current deployment, and CDK synth is going to synthesize, CDK deploy is going to deploy the code. So these are the common commands we are going to use. See, if you know these commands, you're good with that CDK. And along with that, of course, you need to know one of these programming language, that is secondary. So now go here. So now the project structure is initialized. See, the bin, the lib, node modules and test, everything is here. So now where our actual stack is going to define, and so basically these are the files. The file format is going to be .ts. So .ts, and for example, to this code, what are all the modifications you are performing? So what are the modifications you're performing? If you want to continuously monitor those changes, you can do one thing, run npm watch. So this npm watch is going to happen continuously. Sorry, npm run, npm run watch. So keep this window always open. Basically, we do the same thing. So I'm using this npm run watch. So what are all the modifications it's going to perform here? It is going to compile in backend in watch mode. How many errors we have and all, everything it will show here. So we will leave that window open. Now, so we need to understand this folder structure. So when coming to this lib workshop, or my project stack.ts. So this is a place where our actual project is going to start. So we are importing this SNS topic, AWS SNS. We are importing SNS subscribers. We are importing SQS. We are importing CDK core modules. Right. So most of the times we are going to spend our time here. This is a place where we are going to, like another one under bin. So we have my project dot ts. This is the another one. So where this is going to define all the libraries, what exactly it need to and all. So basically it is going to what libraries you have defined in that previous file, it will come or it will load from this one. So the remaining one not that much important, so now if you want to deploy some, if you want to create something and if you want to deploy, so now you can use an option called CDK synth. So we have initialized a sample project, right? So now I want to deploy that sample project in our AWS environment. So for that, so in cloud formation, I have nothing. In cloud formation, I have nothing, only a couple of so this is an IDE for that. And basically this sample code is going to deploy an SQS queue in backend. So do I have any SQS queue here? No SQS queue available. So now once you have all your code, they can give CDK synth. Basically synth stands for synthesize. What are all the code you defined in these files? What are the code you defined in these files? For example, I'm importing SNS and SQS. I'm importing SNS and SQS, and it is going to create a SQS topic and SNS topic. New queue it is going to create, and the queue name is going to be my project queue, and that queue visibility timeout is going to 300 seconds, right? And to that queue, one SNS topic is going to subscribe, and the topic name is my project topic. So now I want to deploy this code. Whatever the one I have here, whatever the one I prepared here in this my project stack.ts, I want to deploy this. For that, we are going to prepare, we are going to give CDK synth. It is going to synthesize and it is going to give a cloud formation script where you can deploy that cloud formation script to your AWS environment. See, this is the cloud formation script it have given. So same thing, I'm copying and pasting it here. So if you observe, see, this is a cloud formation script. So it is creating an Amazon SQS queue. My project queue is a name and it is going to create an SQS queue. Visibility timeout is 300 seconds. And this is a queue policy it is going to pick, right? So now, okay, fine, it got synthesized. Now we need to deploy it, right? So to deploy it, we are going to use another command called CDK deploy. See, we are using the same thing. Run was to change that. This is to test, if you want to test any unit testing, so you can give npm run test. So I have given CDK synth. Now I want to deploy this, but before that, whenever you are deploying for the first time, when we deploying for the first time, we need to bootstrap the AWS account. We need to bootstrap the AWS account. For that, we need to give CDK space bootstrap. So this is only one time whenever you're deploying for the first time only, guys. After that, no need to. So click on CDK bootstrap. So basically, here in this cloud formation, our account is going to be bootstrapped. So see here, AWS environment within this account got bootstrapped in this Mumbai region, right? So same account number, right? It got bootstrapped. So now we are good to deploy whatever the cloud formation script it got created, right? Those you can find under cdk.out, whatever the one it got created, that we can find under cdk.out one. So now give cdk deploy. Whenever you are giving the CDK deploy, whatever the cloud formation template we have here, it is going to deploy here in this environment. Now it is telling, okay, this template is going to create some resources, SQS send message, and it is going to use SNS. Do you really want to deploy these changes? Give yes. I have given Y, click on enter. So now this stack, cloud formation stack, which we generated by using this AWS CDK, got generated and it is going to deploy here. See this, my project stack, it is going to deploy and we are going to get a SQS topic. See this, my project stack got created and an SNS topic is going to create and it is going to subscribe that here, right? So see this, SNS topic got created. So everything is again happening via this cloud formation only. So you can find what resource it got created. So you can find that here. What is output? No output. So what parameters we have given, what events happened from starting to now. It is trying to create that project. It is trying to create a resource. Whenever any issue happened, this is stack is not successful. So then we can find that here. We can find those changes here. So this is how exactly some basic commands on the CDK. Now you are good to perform some more things. So now if you want to use this diff command, if you want to see how exactly what changes we are performing and all, you can go to this code and you can perform some modifications. For example, I'm navigating to this page and I'm going to delete this. Okay, so I've deleted this. So I perform some modifications basically. I perform some modifications within this code. Now I want to see, okay, this npm watch is going to complete verify how many files got changed and all. Now I'm going to give cdk diff. It will tells us what modification happened on your code from last deployment. See, this got destroyed, so this got removed, this got removed again, this is going to remove SNS subscriptions and all. Now do you want to deploy this? So I want to delete. So what I did to delete that resource, I have removed that from my project stack.ts under lib, whatever the resource I deleted. Now those resources I want to deploy. So for that cdk deploy, I have given cdk deploy. So now it is going to deploy again. So whenever it is deploying, right? So those resources are going to delete from this console and all. So important thing is within this file, my project stack.ts under lib, my project stack.ts, whatever modification you want to perform, go and do that here. So now sometime back uh, we got a small script to launch an EC2 instance, right? So TypeScript, AWS CDK TypeScript, copy and paste that here, perform the same and you will get an EC2 instance. Similarly, so generate any of your script, come and deploy that here. Whenever you are deploying, yes, the resource is going to create. So that how exactly AWS CDK works. So I know if you're not a developer, these things bit difficult, and if you're a developer, it's not that much difficult for you. I can definitely tell you. Right? So mainly just have basic knowledge on this command, and where we are going to, whatever the resource you want to create under lib. This is a place we are going to. So then you can run some sample script definitely, uh, like so you will gain some basic knowledge, and I personally suggest you to go through one thing, that is AWS CDK workshop. So this is CDK workshop is a page. So whatever things I explained, same thing is available here, but you can take a real project now. So if you are good with Python, yeah, go and choose a Python workshop. Now click on next. So CDK init, now you know what exactly CDK init is, and it is initializing a sample app, and that we are using Python. You know what exactly it is now, and so it is using a virtual environment. So then this is a folder structure how exactly we are going to get, and now the main stack again the same thing. So now what is CDK synth, you know what exactly it is, and it is going to synthesize everything. And the same thing, it is going to create SQSQ, SNS topic, and it's going to subscribe. You know what exactly CDK Bootstrap is? That is only one-time operation. Now you know what is CDK deploy, right? To deploy that to AWS environment. And so now you can go and pick a real code, CDK diff, what are the modifications happening from the previous one. Then we are deploying that modifications as well. So then this is a code. So basically it is a hello.python program, hello world program. So we are going to use that hello world program, and then you can so under lib, the same file, cdk workstep stack.py. So we are going to deploy, right? So this is what you can take the sample project and you can try to comply this, so you can understand what exactly constructs within this program and how you can use libraries and all that is you can start using it. So I personally suggest you to go to the CDK workshop and choose your own programming language and try to deploy something, right? So any questions on cloud formation and the CDK, guys?
Avinash?
Yes, please.
Yeah, like only AWS developer role guys will be doing this, or solution architect guys also will be doing this.
Oh, solution architect, no, they really don't do this. AWS developers only, most of the times they are going to work on this.
Okay, it means if I choose a AWS developer role, I will be not developing any applications, but I will be writing these such type of scripts, right?
Exactly. So you are going to prepare the environment, the infra and all by using CDK and all. But again, end of the day, you are going to use one of these programming language, right?
Programming language.
Must know one of that program supported one of the supported programming language. So that is an important thing. So once you're done with that, make sure you terminate your environment. So don't terminate your EC2 instance from this EC2 console. So go to Cloud9. So there we can find an IDE. So delete this IDE. Navigate here, click on delete and give delete here. So capital D, I think. Click on delete. So now the IDE is going to delete. Right, so even in backend, whatever the stack IDE stack it is going to. So we can use another command cdk destroy. So basically cdk destroy is going to delete all the project. Whatever the project you want to, it is going to delete the entire project, and it's going to delete this project stack and all. So that is also another command where we use regularly. Right, so I have shared our test2 document in our Slack channel. So please spare some time and go through that. And as I mentioned, we don't have a session on this Monday. So in Tuesday session, we are going to discuss about what exactly DevOps mechanism. I hope you guys everybody registered the Jenkins course which I shared. Now you are good to go with that course. And I'm going to explain basic CI/CD operation by using AWS tools, and we are going to talk about hypervisor containerization mechanism also. So that we will discuss in our Tuesday session. So I'm going to share quiz 3 document also in about in our Slack channel. So please spare some time and please go through that. And for today, the task is like, go through the CDK workshop. Whatever the programming language you are comfortable, pick one. Even like, in that workshop, you can find a sample code also. If you don't know how to write that code also, just like, pick that sample code, deploy it, right? So that's it for today's session. See you again on Tuesday, guys. Yeah, sure, definitely. One hands on at last. Definitely, we are going to. See, as I mentioned, I really don't have any deadline for this, guys. If I stick to the deadline, so now it's almost like, 40 sessions, I believe. We had almost 38 or 39 sessions already completed. 40 approximately. You know, there is no deadline for me. If you want to extend this, or if you want, like, if you want to be stand by while you're practicing and all, definitely I'm okay too. Right. So, yep, that's it for today's session. Have a nice weekend, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.